On the news this week, George Russell talks tyre barriers, while activists invade Silverstone. You can now watch full 24-minute episodes of The Inside Line at our official home on unbeaten.com. Grand Prix Drivers Association Director George Russell has called on the FIA to look at tyre barriers in the aftermath of Zhou Guanyu's astonishing accident at the British Grand Prix. Guanyu was flipped onto his halo after contact from Russell, who himself was tapped by AlphaTauri's Pierre Gasly and flipped over the tyre barrier into the space between it and the catch fencing. And Russell says something should be done to ensure it's not repeated, despite the marshals being able to extract Guanyu. In that position, he was stuck there. There was nothing he could have done, said Russell. Russell stopped his car at turn 1 to assist Guanyu, but was not allowed to take the restart, given he did not drive his W13 back to the pits. Further danger was averted at Silverstone on Sunday, with 7 people from the Just Stop Oil climate activist group arrested after a dangerous track invasion on lap 1. The activist group was a known risk prior to the event, with local police giving them an option of a peaceful protest, but they ignored that to jump the Wellington straight fence just as the red flag was called. And F1 CEO and President Stefano Domenicali slammed the protest, saying no one has the right to put lives in danger. The actions of a small group of people today were completely irresponsible and dangerous, he said. McLaren has pulled the handbrake on future upgrades to its MCL 36, with the British squad having already admitted it's en route to breaking F1's $140 million cost cap. McLaren started the season off the pace and down the order, with brake issues from the outset in pre-season testing. It's since developed itself out of the mire, with Lando Norris third at Imola, but McLaren has a long way to go to close the gap to third-placed Mercedes, with 131 points the difference post-Silverstone. Concerns about additional overspending, however, has meant it's halted additional development, said Chief Andreas Seidel. The main thing at the moment is still to try to unlock more performance from the package we are having. Then we need to see which further, let's say, small little changes to the car will come throughout the course of the season, he said. Mercedes Director of Trackside Engineering, Andrew Shovlin, says that his team has had to re-evaluate the way it introduces updates to the car, with a need to test first rather than just bolt on and go. The Silver Arrows brought upgrades to Silverstone, which included revised front suspension, side pod vanes, floor and rear wings that helped it snag its second straight podium. But Shovlin, in a chat with the sport's official podcast F1 Nation, says development is not so straightforward anymore.
This team's had a very good record of bringing updates that have worked. And, literally year after year, everything we made, we put on the car, it seemed to deliver. And with these latest regulations, that hasn't been the same.
Mercedes is yet to win a race this year, with the W13 affected by bouncing, but it's facing the challenge head-on, with Shovlin stating the rate of learning and ideas is crucial.
We're enjoying the challenge. It would be great to get back to being in a position where we can challenge for pole and win races, but there's no alternative but to fix these problems. So that's what we need to get stuck into.
Staying with Mercedes, where George Russell says his W13 does not stand alone as the most extreme bouncer, with other teams suffering equally or almost as much, but staying silent, keen to protect their advantage. The Silver Arrows have taken the lion's share of media coverage in terms of the technical issue, shaping public perception that Mercedes has it the worst. But Russell said to official podcast Beyond the Grid that could not be further from the truth.
We're not the only two to have experienced this. We're the only two generally talking about it at the moment, because there's many other teams and drivers who don't want any change to any regulations in the coming years because they are competitive.
Russell also explained why bouncing should be seen as dangerous.
Our vision is being compromised every time you're bouncing around down this straight. In Baku, I couldn't even see my pit board. I could see it, but the words were blurry, the braking zones were blurry, and it's just uncomfortable.
F1 was in damage limitation mode ahead of the British Grand Prix, with controversial comments and racial slurs galore. Estonian F2 pilot Yuri Vips was the first, with Red Bull swiftly terminating his contract after he uttered a racial slur during a Twitch stream in which he was playing video game Call of Duty. The 21-year-old apologized, but Red Bull cut the cord. He retained his F2 drive, however, with Hi-Tech giving him a second chance, and Vips finished in 12th and 6th in the two Silverstone races. Three-time F1 world champion Nelson Piquet was next, with the famous Brazilian using a Portuguese racial slur to describe Sir Lewis Hamilton in an interview from 2021 that surfaced ahead of the race. Piquet apologized, stating that his comments were ill thought out, but the backlash was swift, with F1 banning him from the paddock and the BRDC suspending his honorary membership. An exasperated Hamilton said, "These archaic mindsets have to change." Reigning F1 world champion Red Bull's Max Verstappen, who was dating Piquet's daughter Kelly, said the comments were not correct. Former F1 Supremo Bernie Ecclestone also hit the news headlines for all the wrong reasons after he defended Russia's invasion of Ukraine on live TV and stated Russian President Vladimir Putin is a first-class person who he'd take a bullet for. Comments the sport quickly distanced itself from. Alpine is set to shake up its workforce, with the French brand pushing to up the number of females at its Enstone squad from 12% up to 30% within 5 years. The French-backed Enstone squad launched its Race Her program ahead of the British Grand Prix, with the aim to not only be more inclusive, but to find the next female F1 driver. Lella Lombardi was the last woman to race in F1, her 12th and final start coming in Austria 1976, more than 40 years ago. Alpine has long been supportive of females in F1, with Asil Al-Hamad and Alpine junior pilot Abby Pulling making history earlier this year as the first women to drive an F1 car in Saudi Arabia. We are aware of the need for a profound transformation of both the sport and the industry, so that all talents can flourish in the future, said Alpine CEO Laurent Rossi. Red Bull has taken its advanced technologies business to the next level with the launch of the RB17, a new Adrian Newey-designed supercar that will be built in-house at its Milton Keynes factory. Just 50 examples are to be made, each at a cost of $6 million, with owners having access to the team's simulators, vehicle program development, and on-track training. Red Bull Supercar follows the release of Mercedes-AMG's One, which features a complete F1 powertrain, and is a natural progression for Red Bull's applied tech department after its involvement with Aston Martin on the Valkyrie and Alinghi in the America's Cup.
I think it's the next chapter. I mean, what we've achieved in the time that we worked together has been fantastic, and it's been such an enjoyable journey working with Adrian. You know, he's my friend as well as my work colleague, and you know, we have a great relationship, and this just feels like the next chapter. You know, tremendously exciting, and you know, in true Red Bull style. We're never afraid of taking on a challenge or people that say it can't be done.
Although legendary F1 designer Newey also spoke about what could be done with the RB17, with production starting from 2025.
With this being a genuine two-seater, then you can either scare your friend or wife or girlfriend, or you can have a coach with you and kind of use this in a way that is as a kind of, hopefully a very enjoyable experience for everybody involved. Great day out, and there's something about driving a car as fast as that. This is exhilarating.
Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.